Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about a multi-day, significant, potentially blockbuster tornado and severe threat across the south, particularly in the Gulf states. Now, I am gonna kind of divide this into two parts because this is potentially a 4-day severe threat. So, we're gonna talk about today and tomorrow in this video, and then potentially another video about Wednesday and Thursday. But let's get right on into it, starting off with the Storm Prediction Center, where we have marginal, slight, and enhanced risks. We have enhanced risk across 51,000 square miles and 9.8 million people, including Houston, Austin, Pasadena, Waco, and Killeen, Texas. We have a slight risk across 74,000 square miles and 11 million people, including San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, and Plano, Texas. And marginal risk across 105,000 square miles and 4.3 million people, including Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Corpus Christi, Amarillo, Abilene, Texas, and Norman, Oklahoma. So, tornado risk. We have a significant severe threat across 40,000 square miles and 8.9 million people, including Houston, Austin, Pasadena, Waco, and Killeen, Texas. 10% chance of tornadoes across 44,000 square miles and a population of 9.1 million people, including Houston, Austin, Pasadena, Waco, and Killeen, Texas. 5% chance across 66,000 square miles and a population of 11 million people, including San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, and Plano, Texas. And a 2% risk across 93,000 square miles and 4.4 million people, including Oklahoma City and Norman, Oklahoma, Corpus Christi, and Abilene, Texas, and Shreveport, Louisiana. Winds roughly correlate to the categorical risks. So if you were in marginal, you are in 5%, slight, 5%, enhanced. Slight is 15%, enhanced is 30%. That one is just in a horrible spot. And then hail is about the same, but we have a significant severe threat across 43,000 square miles and a population of 5.6 million people, including San Antonio, Austin, Waco, Killeen, and Round Rock, Texas. Moving on to day 3, which is the more significant day, which is Tuesday into Wednesday, where we have marginal, slight, enhanced, and for the first time this year, moderate risk of severe thunderstorms. We have moderate risk across 21,000 square miles and a population of 2 million people, including Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Jackson, Mississippi, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, Clinton, Mississippi, and Pearl, Mississippi. Enhanced risk across 45,000 square miles and a population of 3.9 million people, including New Orleans, Metairie, Lafayette, Louisiana, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and Gulfport, Mississippi. Slight risk across 53,000 square miles and a population of 3.4 million people, including Montgomery, Mobile, Alabama, Beaumont, Texas, and Port Arthur, Texas, and Lake Charles, Louisiana. And then a marginal risk across 37,000 square miles and a population of 2.8 million people, including Birmingham, Hoover, Doniphan, Decatur, and Auburn, Alabama. So, our excessive rainfall outlook, we also have a marginal risk, at least 5% chance of flash flooding across Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana. Slight risk across Dallas, Oklahoma, Dallas, parts of Texas, eastern Texas in particular, maybe even Houston too, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana. And then an area just north of Houston, maybe into Shreveport, parts of Louisiana and Texas, moderate, at least 40% chance of exceeding flash flood guidance. Day 3, that moves even further east, where we have that moderate risk across Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama. That slight risk across Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, Tennessee, Arkansas, Missouri, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. And then marginal risks across many states. I'm not going to list them. It's in green. So let's move on here to the NAM, where we do have the NAM 3 fully loading in the storm. So, you see low pressure here. It starts to bring up that Gulf moisture in a very quick series of events, where in 2 or 3 hours, we're starting to see some thunderstorm development already. And most of the strong thunderstorms start to move in here. This is right around noon Eastern time, so around 11 Central Time, we start to see some stronger thunderstorms around Dallas and Oklahoma City and Norman. Now, eventually, we will start to see a line of thunderstorms start to generate here as we start to go into, this is right around, let's call that, let's say that's 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, and now we're starting to see that move through the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But eventually another line of thunderstorms forms here in eastern Texas. Now this is right around midnight Eastern, 11 p.m. Central. And then we see that move through Shreveport. This is right around 1 a.m. Eastern, midnight Central, where we start to see that move through Shreveport. And then the major threat here is when we have this line of thunderstorms and then another line of thunderstorms at a different angle here. So you can see that shift in the winds, and that's going to cause a lot of potential thunderstorms, hail, tornadoes. This is pretty much late in the day on Monday. So let's see, this starts to pop up. This is right around, let's call that 7 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Central on Tuesday, and into Louisiana starting, this is right around, let's call that 1 p.m. Eastern and noon Central. But this threat here, this is when this low pressure is starting to develop. We're getting plenty of Gulf moisture, that warm, moist air colliding with that cold air and that dry air from the west. And we potentially have multiple lines of thunderstorms all combining together to form a massive, severe threat from, again, that 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central, all the way through, let's call that, let's say that's 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central on Wednesday. So basically all day, Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Alabama, Texas, just getting hammered by severe weather. Mixed layer cape, you can see here that we get all of that cape kind of flowing in from the Gulf. All that instability here, all of that energy for thunderstorms. We are in that. This blue, light blue here is 1,500 to 2,000 joules per kilogram of energy, and this oranges here is over 2,000 joules per kilogram of energy. And we start to see that kind of progress through Texas, and the most southern parts of Texas could see over 3,000 joules per kilogram of energy, before eventually we see just widespread cape across all of eastern Texas, where that second line of thunderstorms kind of starts to form, that more major part of this severe threat that starts to move into Louisiana. All of that energy is getting developed in Texas, and that is where all those thunderstorms form, but they're going to be long-lasting thunderstorms, so they're going to use all of this energy. You can see the line of thunderstorms right in here uses all of that energy, and there's very little energy in Louisiana that is going to have to pick up, but it is significant enough. We're already in that 1,500 joules per kilogram of energy again, but it still uses all of that energy from Texas. When we saw that huge spike here, all of that energy is getting used by that one line of thunderstorms across all of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. Finally, here is our version of the Torcon. This is our significant tornado parameter, which is a 1 to 10 scale. So you can see the chance of tornadoes is potentially a 2.5 out of 10, maybe even areas closer to 3 on this chart. And you can see here those reds, that is 3+, and then we start to see maybe some purples. That gets into areas around 4 on that chart. I just saw 4.5 in parts of Texas just south of Dallas. And we even see more of those purples start popping up in Texas. So basically throughout most of Texas, 3 to 4 on the Torcon, our version of the Torcon here. So basically that happens all day Monday into the early morning hours of Tuesday, and wow, that is over 5. So even areas northwest of Houston, basically in that current enhanced risk, and let's go to tornadoes, that significant severe risk here, that is that just stretch of 4 to 5. All of that in purple, that is potential for EF2, EF3, EF4, EF5 tornadoes. And that is a prolonged period of time. Then we see this move into Louisiana, where we still have those 4s, but now we're starting to see maybe some 5s in there as well, moving through into Mississippi. So I do think that the main area for a lot of those tornadoes, the very strong tornadoes, is going to be right in here. So areas such as Dallas, Houston, Shreveport, let's even include areas such as Gulfport, Biloxi, Mississippi, just north of New Orleans, maybe even into Baton Rouge, could see areas like that see significant tornadoes. Not just, EF1, maybe even up to that major category of tornadoes. Of course, all tornadoes are major, but just the very intense tornadoes that will destroy and flatten everything in their path. EF3 plus tornadoes from this general region right in here. So, just as precaution, have your plan in place for Monday, Tuesday in those areas for significant tornadoes that could flatten everything. If you have an area underground, that's great. If not, an interior location of your house with no windows to break from the wind and debris. So an interior, usually like a bathroom or a closet, something that just has 4 bedrock walls on either side. That's all I have for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.